What is up, WinJet community? Happy Money Wednesday, everybody. Everyone is taking some time for themselves and to get themselves ready for the new week. 2 seconds, real quick. Carolyn, I have a microphone going off. I can hear myself speak. Are you playing something on your end, Miss Carolyn? Let me fix this screen real quick. I can hear myself. It's really distracting. All right, let's try that. Can you hear me, Carolyn? Put a little chat or something. I think I got it fixed. Okay, cool. So happy Money Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to today's live call, a little weekly update. I have some updates I want to go over with you guys to make sure that we're all on the same chin of music and getting to the overall outcome and of winning, right? So the affiliate links are done. The system's already ready to rock and roll. We have the website developers already starting to move everything over to our standalone system at winjet.com. If you haven't seen the website as of yet and some of the updates, I highly suggest you go and check that out. And obviously looking at some of the exclusive offers that I have brokered on the back end of this. Most people understand this because they've been watching some of the lives, but other people haven't with the Jess Lee Roadshow. Her show just went live on last Friday, and we have opened up the community for podcast members and also listeners of shows with the same exclusive offers that we're brokering and making exclusive for you guys. Some of the offers, I'm going to have Carolyn share a screen here in a little bit, of the affiliate links and teaching you how to monetize from all the offers that we do have, and you being able to plug in the audio and the video promos inside your show to be able to share with your listeners to open up the other part of the live Q&As we're going to give everyone access to for you to increase your listenership and then also your engagement, direct access with your many listeners. It's so exciting for having all these things coming into the pieces of the puzzle to teach you how to really get yourself out there and deliver your message to the right people. So, Carolyn, if you want to go ahead and share a screen with some of these offers, I want to break these offers down, and that way we're able to look at this in a ballpark bird's eye view. I can't see your screen, Carolyn. Oh, there you go. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is what the system looks like as of right now. Obviously, with the beta testing and all the things that we have exclusively in the back office, we haven't moved away from Kajabi as of yet because I want to make sure that we're giving enough time with the website developers to merge everything over properly, especially with the affiliate links. If you're a member of WinJet Studios, inside the system, you should have access for you to go ahead and sign up as an affiliate. That is important for you to do so now, like ASAP. So if you haven't done that, please make sure you do so. You're going to have all the affiliate links inside there for even all the exclusive offers we're having on the back end of this, and even more so with some of the offers that you guys would want to offer for your communities. And this is the overall picture of what's going to happen. This is the site for what your listeners of shows are going to be able to have access to. As you can tell, go back up to the top of that, Miss Carolyn. Actually, it's on the bottom of it. Go back to the little bit on the bottom. Sorry, leading in the wrong direction. So this is what it's going to look like inside the system where you're able to broadcast your videos or even some of your training sites that you want to have for your exclusive offers for your listeners of shows. That's going to be so impactful because you're now going to be able to break off them in a certain way of reaching that type of high engagement. And all I have to do is text in 843-396-2104. And that way it's going to open up through sending you in questions to answer on your live call. That's going to be impactful. So next thing I want to show is the Pirate Syndicate with Mr. Russ Johns, our community leader. Our community leader, as you can tell, our system is set up in our live schedule. Mondays is going to be with Turnkey Productions, which does all the audio editing for you guys. It takes out the ums and the ahs and making sure that we're applying the right type of music with the royalties. The next call, obviously on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, it's with Russ Johns. You've been seeing this guy, crazy guy on there. We're bald brothers. But what he's going to be doing for us is the video production and doing live broadcast. That, as you haven't if you can tell already and actually understand, when you're doing a live show, that's one surefire way of increasing your engagement. Especially we're looking at, depending on how you want to broadcast it on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. There's a bunch of different ones. If you can scroll down just a little bit further. Okay, with the offer that he's actually bringing to the table, he's knocking around $3,000 off his original service exclusively for Winject Studios. That, to me, I just blows me away that he's able to give away as much as he has. And you can find these links if you go back to the system, Ms. Carolyn, the Winject Studios, real quick. Where you can find all these links is inside the system. That's all the exclusive offers. You go in there and click on them, and you'll be able to find the links and direct access to those. Some of them do have a code to be able to protect the obviously community members and an affiliate. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure you go ahead and sign up to be an affiliate, so that way you can go ahead and start monetizing from day one. All right, now we can go to the website developer one. All right, perfect. So this is Site Now. Site Now is a sister program and business and brand of our website developers with Market House. As you they go live on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I think I'm the only call that's actually doing a little bit earlier because it's going to be crazy late for me. But this is for website develop, obviously getting your site up and changing the approach for SEO and branding and marketing. I think they're covering tomorrow social media marketing, which is going to be really impactful for you guys. And that's going to lead us right into some of the repurposing. But if you go to Doug's real quick, Ms. Carolyn. All right, perfect. Inside of here, inside the system, you can also, with your show notes in these, but I don't want everyone to understand this. Doug has about 10 years into podcasting. 10 years into podcasting. You're not just going to learn how to structure some of your show notes and increasing your engagement with your listenership. Another part of this process is you can start making sure that you have the right SEO there, and especially with the coaching and those monthly productions. And in advanced monthly productions, you have different types of office hours, and where our new branding partners and our official exclusive offers that we're having through Podbox and Streamline Podcasts and Productions coming soon. I think he's going to be going live on Friday. I don't want to make an announcement where you guys will be like, what? I haven't seen this link. It's happening on Friday. Okay. So just letting you know. This obviously with the social media production and the social media repurposing, most of you guys are recording your episodes on video and Zoom, and then you need to get it out to your obviously prospective buyers or your listeners of your shows, and that's done through social media. Well, as you can probably tell with a lot of social media clips, if you don't have the right strategy to match the content, then you're pretty much just screaming out loud and your microphone's not plugged in. So if you go to repurpose, so I've been working with a good friend of mine, Haney. He owns Repurpose.io, and what it is he's actually knocking off 25% off for Winject Studios members to be able to repurpose your content. You actually, one show gets you 20 pieces of content. One show. So if you go to refer there for podcasters real quick, Ms. Carolyn, you can actually sign up for free. Up the top, the tab, it says for podcasters. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So this will get you more exposure. So one podcast episode gives you over 20 pieces of content, and it converts it already for you. And all you need to do is just add in your branding and add in your logos for your show or whatever you want to add. And it breaks it all down very simplified, and which makes it easier for your listeners and your fans to consume your content. And just to kind of give you a tip when you're doing some strategy on putting your content together, don't just do clips of you speaking if you're interviewing someone. ask a question, and it also pops up and populates where your guest and the person that you're showcasing can actually display their talents and skills. That's going to be very helpful for you in a long run. All right. So the other part of the strategy in the IG, as you probably can tell with IG, is a little bit more difficult because you have different types of frames. You have the 1080 to 1920 where it posts the long one, or you can do 1080 and 1080 and it actually posts the square footage. So if you want to do a video, and especially for like IGTV, I always recommend doing 1080 1920, which it does a long feed. You're taking up that space on IG for you to be able to do the right things of driving the right activity to your shows and also to the guest. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about being able to monetize. If you go to the influencer profile on Music Breaker, next deal that I broke off, and I actually brokered with good friends of ours at Music Breaker. Music Breaker, what they do for a living and their new system, they're in a beta phase right now. I think they're about to go live 100% with some investors on the back end of this. You're going to be able to get music from real, obviously, artists out there in different genres, whatever you're looking for, and you're able to do a campaign and having access to this. They will pay you as a podcaster to put their music into your shows or putting it inside one of your social media posts if it aligns perfectly, and they'll actually pay you to do that. I think it's close to around like $75 to $200. They did one other campaign that I was running was around $300 they paid me just to be able to run that ad. Okay, so, and they're not just ads, you're just dumping in the music on top of your clip. So you're not trying to like promote something, because we all know this. If you've been on a lot of shows, excuse me, even some of the major influencer shows, you're listening to a show and then you'll have like 2 minutes of ads. Then you'll listen to a little bit of the show, another 2 minutes of ads, and another 20 minutes. A little bit later on down the road is a whole other 2 minute pitch through ads. That is not really going to help you. That's not at all. So what we have done here is we want to make sure that we're going to raise your rapport level and then also raising the experience for your consumers to keep coming back. And how they keep coming back is you're raising their experience of listening to your show. How to go about doing this, you need to change it up and putting different music to different parts of your segments of your show to reach them in a different way. Because rap music really is not going to really help someone that doesn't like rap. Right? Or if you want to listen to something more upbeat, or if you're playing some type of violin and you're trying to be motivating, that's not going to help. Okay. So we need to make sure that you're going to reach them where your buyers are and also where your listeners are. That's really going to help overall. But I promised that I will bring on a special guest for today. And I think she's here live. I see her down at the bottom, Ms. Carolyn. This person came onto my show, I don't know, it's probably like 2 months ago. We've met through Anthony Trucks, great friend of ours. And he only introduced me like to great people anyway. But when I got on the phone with Ella for the first time, it literally, our conversation went from 0 to 1,000. And every conversation I've had with her has been the same. She came into my show. I think that was the longest podcast that I had on the Win-Win Effect. And I contemplated for the first time ever and breaking off and doing a 2-part episode. But it was so out of this world and so next level, it would actually wouldn't do it justice if I chopped it up a little bit. So what we're going to be doing with Miss Ella and Ella May, she actually has done a lot of work for major influencers out there, some of the bigger names out there. We're not going to name drop. And what she does is she actually breaks off and does a custom strategy to fit their brand and to reach the right type of people out there and doing something slightly different. She's agreed to do some trainings for our community exclusively and doing it by different types of parts and doing Q&A. So without any further delay, I want to bring on Ella May, good friend of mine, love her. There she is, out of Arizona.
Hello.
What? How you doing?
What? I'm good. It's hot here, dude. We're already in the high 90s.
Well, it's always hot in Arizona. Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of left Vancouver and went down. So I think you're gonna move. Are you gonna move again, or are you just going on a trip? That's what
I'm going to move to either Puerto Rico or Vegas, it's looking like. So I'm heading to Puerto Rico on Friday. I'm going to spend a bit of time there and just see if everybody actually likes it or if they're pretending. And Vegas honestly seems like the more logical option. I've got a bunch of clients there. I like the time zone. It's easy. I can pack up a car and move. So we'll see.
Okay, cool. Well, we can go through some of the things that we discussed over the weekend, and obviously in the last couple months. Actually, we've been kind of kicking around a couple different ideas on. I guess you were one of my hack buddies. I got hacked as well on my IG, and I lost that account. And then you actually won and got your handle back. I didn't get my handle back. So
I didn't get the account back. I got my handle back, but
right. I don't know. You got lucky, right? So, but then again, it was meant to be. I guess we can kind of go through and to kind of kick this off. If you can kind of go through and give like an overview on what you do and why you do what you do real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So primarily what I do, and this has evolved, through my career, is I work with organizations, entrepreneurs that have been very successful either pre-social media or without social media. A lot of the time they have a following by default, but the social is not really doing anything. It's kind of a time suck. It's not monetized, etc. So I help them take like all their copy, all their content, all their funnels. A lot of them are podcasters. That's how they got their name. They're big podcasters, right? And then I help them take that, put it into social in a way that creates an additional revenue stream and a connection with their audience. So when Chris and I were connecting, and you've got such an incredible network here of podcasters, I was like, shit, man, it'd be really cool to create something custom for your community to help them. Because a lot of the time we think like, oh shit, socials is, by the way, I'm swearing, I hope it's cool.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Socials is a whole other job. And it's like, well, when you've got a podcast, it doesn't have to be. Like you've got so much content already. So really showing your community how to use the podcast in a way where it can be repurposed to get an audience on multiple platforms and use it in a way where whatever the goal is, whether you've got a business and you want to bring people to an opt-in page, or you just want to get more downloads, more subscribers, and really go all in on the podcast, be able to use it in a way where you're getting in front of people online in all the places you can without it taking 10 hours a week out of your life.
And it is very time consuming if you are doing everything yourself. And this is what I speak a lot about with, just not even just podcasters, just people that are trying to get to an outcome.
Yeah.
If you're not plugged into your source and doing what you love to do, it brings you joy and happiness and fulfillment. You're now going to be working on a different part that's actually you're draining energy. You're not just losing time, you're losing sanity. That's the way I look at it. So when I'm working on a lot of like website stuffs or data or reports, I do that, and I structure that part into my day because I know that I need to recharge after I'm done with that. So I'm able to be able to speak English again. I think you caught me one day when I was actually on the other part of my brain. I couldn't speak. So because
I was like, y'all good, dude?
It's like, what's going on? Yeah, like, oh man, I'm like into these reports. Well, you can end up losing your day and losing so much time that you're not plugged into your source and doing what you love to do. And I see this a lot with a lot of people are trying to save money of, I'll just clip it myself. Oh, I'll just put this together myself. But you just lost not just the time, you've lost also your wave of thinking and for you to be able to increase throughout the day. So say for instance, if you have a podcaster that has 50 shows, like what would be the best route for someone to take in that situation? What advice would you give someone to repurpose some of their content and getting it out there with the right strategy?
That's a really great question. So part of because of the nature of who I work with, we don't like guess. We like to minimize guessing as much as possible. So one thing we use a lot is, and this will be a main key thing for everyone that we work with in your network, is really using YouTube for what it's good for. YouTube actually has, and I'll show you guys how to do this when we go into it, but YouTube actually has really specific analytics, right down to the video length. So you can see where people skipped back in the video to watch a certain part, where they whatever. So the first thing is as much as I started my career as a copywriter, and one thing copy taught me, is I'm wrong a lot. And our job is not to put out what we think is amazing. It's to put out what the audience tells us they like. So there's a lot. So first of all, you want to be using as much data as possible. And this is a full system I work you through. Second of all, it's like one thing we'll be going through is like, this is a job that is very easily outsourced to an $8 an hour VA in Venezuela or in the Philippines or whatever. For the most part, like when I give somebody that I'm working with the plan, the actual front-facing business owner or entrepreneur, the person who's going to be the face of the account, out of like 15 jobs, 2 of them are theirs. That's it. And that's them showing up, doing the thing, and them showing up in a different, like their job is what they're already doing, plus like maybe 30 minutes a week. Everything else is outsourced. So we give you a full system for that. So even if you can only be like, okay, I can like, I get it. Like I remember when I was starting, it's like, shit, man, I don't know, like $30 a week is a lot. Even if you can only afford $30 a week, that's like almost 4 hours with a VA. That's a lot to get going. Like you can show up consistently on other platforms. So that's one thing we'll be going through as well, is not just like what to do, but how to maintain it and how to systemize it. So this is a machine that like wash, rinse, repeat. You can just go. And that was the biggest thing I found was missing in social media in general. When it came for business owners, is like you have 2 options: A, learn everything there is to learn, which is a lot of work, train your team, or pay an agency $700 a month to post and hope it's working. Like there was no real like, okay, is anybody actually tracking metrics? Are they tracking click-through rates? Are we looking at analytics to determine what to share? And I know this might sound a little bit scary, but trust me, it's actually quite simple. And it works way more effectively than like, shit, what do we post today? You know?
Right. Well, I mean, I love the fact that you said that YouTube, and it does give you great analytics into the detail, like pinpoint. I used to do it this way. When I would look at, and this is when I was doing a lot of it myself, because I'm the kind of person where I need to get my hands around it first.
Yeah.
And once I get my hands around it, then I'm able to build a system and build a process for my staff. Then I know who to outsource. So I don't like to go the agency route because they are just going to do what everybody else is doing. Well, I want it to be custom made for what I'm looking for. So I'll break down the analytics and see a training. Where did I back up and where did I hit home? That's the clip. That's the clip that I post. I don't post a clip just because I want to post a clip that I think's great. Well, I want to post one where I see a huge spike of engagement right from that one spot. So how do I get, so then I look at it and I look at it, reverse engineer it backwards. Okay, so how do I get that same approach and same engagement to where I'm able to drop an anchor on a certain emotion? That's my next training. Whatever I just said right there, I'm going to dial down and put all the way down to the core of whatever topic that was, and then nail it. And then that way, not just focusing on engagement of that one show, I'm focusing on now I'm pinpointing and going over that topic and opening it up. Now I'm able to do the same thing when I'm done with that show and getting real pinpoint. Okay, how am I dialing it all the way in? Yeah. This is how you're able to increase your engagement without going to an agency and like, hey, I need to get likes and shares and all that bullshit. You know, like no one cares, man. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to do where it's custom made to me and it's custom made for my listeners and also for the people that I'm trying to serve. So that's a hard thing for podcasters because I wouldn't say they're new to it. You can't get ugly baby syndrome with your show. There are some ugly babies out there. There's some ugly shows, right? That just talk the whole show, but they're not really like getting like all the way down. Like if you had someone, and I'm speaking to the community and I'm trying to ask the questions it was really going to help them. So say for instance, you have a show and it's an interview based show. What do you look at? Do you try to give them advice on some of those, like breaking it off in segments? So it's not just like a really long show of looking at their content.
Like, okay, first of all, and this is something we'll like go over in detail, is you need to use the platforms for what they're good for. So it's using the platforms about like YouTube for sure, your whole show, right? Like people are there for long form videos. Like webinar ads tend to do better on YouTube than they do on Instagram because on Instagram I'm scrolling, YouTube I'm settling in and watching a video. There's a much higher chance I'll click through and watch your webinar, whatever it is, right? So first of all, it's knowing what the platforms are good for and using them accordingly. I would say, yeah, exactly. And I would say, second of all, like the thing that's probably going to get the most awareness around your brand, your business, your show, whatever your main focus is leveraging other people's audiences. Right.
Oh, wow. That's powerful. Explain that.
Like, I mean, it's like, hey, like I could do this live on my Facebook, but like, do you think it's going to have more impact going to your audience? Like, of course, because you've got the audience, right? So when you like, again, this, I know it sounds kind of scary. It's a pretty straightforward system, but when we put some effort into this and you want to get like a really big guest on your show, or you want to be a guest on a big show, it's a lot easier when you've got social proof. For sure, followers don't pay the bills. The main goal here is not to just get you popular, it's to get you profitable. But as you grow your accounts, it's a lot easier for you to email, like, I don't know, let's just go big. Let's say Tim Ferriss. And when he sees you've got like 100,000 followers here and your show's got, it's like, oh shit, this might be worth a conversation. And probably not even him, it's his team, but whatever. Like when they see like, oh shit, this might be a conversation. This is now a consideration. Same thing if you want to get onto a big show, like any of the really big shows, unless you know them well personally, like School of Greatness, etc. All those guests are booked through publicists and agents, essentially.
Yes. 100%.
And the one thing they look at is what's their reach, right? What's their reach and what's their current status? Like what relationship do they have with their audience right now? So I don't know if that answered your question. I feel like I rambled.
No, it does. It does. Okay. But it kind of it opened up the opportunity for me to ask this next question and how to be able to get doors open that were closed for you, that you didn't even know it was actually a door and a pathway for you to get more exposure. Yes, you can go the route of analytics and knowing your numbers. I'm telling you, when people come to me and ask to come onto the show, I rarely ever say yes. It's always done through referrals. I rarely invite someone coming on the show just reaching out to me
because they're releasing a book or whatever.
Yeah. I don't want that. My moral obligation is to be able to extract the information. It's going to align perfectly on what the show is about and the message and the people that I have tuning in each and every week. Because if I move away from that message, then it's not the people that are raving fans and keep coming back every week to tune in. They're not going to tune in because they don't want to listen to that. So no one cares. So my point is, I'm opening up a door that was once closed for you. Analytics will help. Also, if you look at their message and really pay attention to a small detail of something they like to talk about, and you're able to hit that through an ad. And what I mean by that, like a video. So perfect example. I had Hustle and Flowchart guys, Joe Fier, Matt Wolf. Phenomenal show. There's like digital, they got a whole other thing. It's called Pod Hackers, digital agency meets like podcasting. It's beautiful. And we've been obviously discussing different types of way on white labeling, but that was on their show. They came onto mine. This is like season 3. This is a while back. Well, I mentioned a comment inside the show that I don't normally see it with guys being able to have different roles in entrepreneurship or as in a partnership, a co-host. I don't see a lot of that, but I do see it a lot more with women. And I made a comment inside that show that this is the decade for female entrepreneurship. My team clipped that and then tagged not Oprah and all these major, obviously, entrepreneurs. I tagged ones that are obviously the next level up of me doing outreach, and they loved, and every single last one of them has been a guest on my show.
Nice, smart.
So you have to think outside the box to get the results you're looking for. I have uncommon thoughts. I have uncommon actions. I have uncommon friends. I have uncommon results. But you have to look at it this way and think outside the box to get what you're trying to obviously accomplish. You can't just go, oh, I have a show. I'm going to get Tim Ferriss on my show. You better get his attention. Well, it's not just his. You need to give the staff, his whole team, enough ammunition to sell you to Tim.
Yeah.
And you can't get him. And then he has no choice but to say yes. And I'm just using him as a reference because you mentioned him. But there's also different types of level of the hierarchies of those types of shows. You can't just go all the way to the top. Hey, Joe Rogan, I want to come on your show. If he's interested, his staff will reach out. But you need to get to the staff. So if you got to work your way up through the levels, I think it's impactful because obviously you rub elbows, and we, obviously people that we know, there's just no high level brands. Like you don't. And I just want to make sure that everyone understands this. Ella's not just doing this for our community, just to do it for our community. She doesn't normally work with people that don't have $1 million businesses. So it is what it is. So this type of deal and white label and a partnership is massive for this community. I can't say enough. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. I think it'll be really fun. And and honestly, like, I want this information out there because it's such a pain point for entrepreneurs and people who are trying to get things going. And there's so much convoluted. And again, you might find better, like, shit, man, I don't know everything. You might find better advice and like something that works better for you. But I know this works. So it's been proven. We've run it quite a few times. Like, I know it works. So this is something that will work. If you adjust it in the future along the way, have fun, test stuff. Let me know how it goes. So this is not the holy grail, the end all be all, but it's more like, here's a clear system that you can use to be able to grow your brand. And one of the things about podcasts that I kind of want to double tap on is like having a podcast, like for Lewis Howes, having a podcast has been the biggest leverage point he's ever had.
Yes.
Because he can get in touch with damn near anyone because he's grown this podcast to the point where it's like an honor to be on it. Right. It's a big deal to be on it. And truthfully, when it comes to those, like, but I promise you, I don't know him personally, so I'm going to say this, but I can say with 90% accuracy, the majority of his income doesn't come from the podcast.
No.
Right. So the cool thing about a podcast or your service business, like with my business, for example, my business's job is to pay me a salary. That's my business's job. I'm not expecting to create lasting wealth from what I'm doing now, like with services, etc. But when you can design what you're doing now so that it pays your bills, plus it puts you in contact with people that have access to really cool deals, that are starting businesses, where you can come in on those. And that's where like real wealth, we're talking long-term here, like real wealth, like real money is created.
Yes, 100%.
Do that. So
I've invested more money from my guests that come on into other opportunities than I have in the last 5 years.
Totally.
Just in the past year. I'm telling you, I got so many business opportunities that are thrown at me because of maybe it could be their listeners of their show. Like, I heard you on this show. Oh my God. Can I learn a little bit more in depth? And then I give them access to it, give them access to a couple links to a show. Then that opens them up to another way of thinking and warms them up also. So that way I don't have to get on a phone with someone or then going through my assistants or whatnot and me trying to sell myself and my services. I don't need to do that. It's already done for me. It's done for me.
Yeah, the credibility factor, but also the relation. So like, I guess what I'm saying is it's really worth it to get your show to a certain point where it gives you credibility and it gives you the ability to create relationships with the kind of people you want. Because in those relationships is where you'll find, like, I'm talking to somebody about a gummy. You know, I want to know a little fun fact. So if there's a vitamin B pill, right? And then so there's a pill and then there's a vitamin B gummy. Gummies are converting 300% higher right now than any supplement pill, whatever. So I'm talking to one of my former clients actually sent me an email about a gummy factory that he's looking at buying and was wondering if I wanted to get in on it. And we were looking at the numbers and it's like, shit, man, like this is the stuff that's really cool that you can dive into, but you can only dive into with the right relationships.
Yes.
So to bring it back,
there's a lot of touch points to develop a really strong relationship. You can't just develop a relationship talking about whatever they want to talk about. There's a lot of touch points to that.
Totally, yeah. And so to bring it back, like a lot of the reason why I think it's really valuable to create something like a podcast and grow it and get it to the point where you can use it as a tool to pay your bills and connect with the people you want to connect with is because that's what could set you up in the future. That's what could set you up for, like, you know, the next adventure. And it's not like the podcast, you know, you can keep doing it for forever if you want it. It's all like Tim Ferriss still does his, like it's still a thing. But it's such a powerful tool. And I think with the right exposure, you can really position yourself to be you could be in a good position to be able to have access to people, relationship deals, etc., that normally you just never would find out about.
Right. And how to be everywhere and being in a lot of conversations, you plant seeds and all the other areas in business that you want to plant. And how you can go about doing that is just being on a lot of dope ass shows. Like, I haven't even started to promote Winject Studios, but I'm about to go on a pod tour. And this pod tour It's going to be insane. I'm going to move 3 to 4 a day. Pop, 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 pop. And I'm starting it. And what I'm doing, I'm going on other shows, not just talking to them. I'm talking through them and to their listeners.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'm speaking to.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to, hey, I'm having a conversation, but that's my one surefire way of being able to do marketing at a high level. Because obviously the people that we know, it's not like they got good engagement. They have a lot of reach. So that's what it's all about. And how to be able to do that is credibility.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Credibility and trust. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, okay, let's kind of wrap this up. Obviously, just want to make sure that we just touched on a couple different things.
Yeah.
Obviously, where we plan on doing is obviously doing maybe a weekly live and you doing a Q&A type of like going on these types of calls. And then that sets up, obviously, but I think it's like once a week we just discuss like one video a week and modules over, I think, you get first 3 and then we do another set of 5. I think that's what we're talking about, 8 weeks.
Well, I honestly, like, so Chris and I we're talking about this over the weekend, and both of us haven't really run something like this before. Right. And I was like, shit, man, let's just ask the audience. Right. So yeah, we were thinking of doing like essentially a weekly training. That would probably be an 8-week thing where I walk you through exactly what I do for my one-on-one clients and the system I set up for them and all the tools involved, like the project management. So like, I'm going to walk you through step by step. I won't just give you something and like you figure it out. So walk you through step by step. We're talking about doing some maybe every other week doing a Q&A session or whatever. But truthfully, I'm open, and I really prefer, especially for something like this, if we can do it live. Because I want to be able to take questions. I want to be able to clarify stuff. Like that's where the real magic happens. So that's why we wanted to do it like week by week, as opposed to me just giving Chris a course that he promotes and whatever. And yeah, like I think honestly, let's see how it unfolds. And if it becomes a recurring thing, amazing. If it ends up being a 12-week thing and then it's just something that's there in the portal for your community, incredible. But I'm pretty down for whatever works for you, the community. And but I think like the week by week, at least for the first 8 weeks, would be a really good system. Right.
I think so too. And I appreciate you being flexible, because I talk to people all the time. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just plug you into this course. I'm like, no, I want a course built out specifically for podcasters. Like, so, okay, you can't just, you have a course, but how does that pertain to all my members? And this includes even listeners of shows, and they want to grow their social media account and do this, and they don't even have a show. That's why I have all those components. I have people that want to launch a show. We have that. People that don't want to have a show, but they want to go on a bunch of shows. Well, we got that component for you just being able to utilize our system and not paying an agency money to get you booked in for shows. Well, I'm going to give you direct access. So, and that's just a beautiful part about it. And of course, people that, have a show and they really just want to gain more exposure. I have engagement groups within different types of channels, because the community app is only for US and Canada. So I need to make sure that I'm opening it up the doors for, worldwide, because this is a global, not just a global business opportunity. This is something where it's going to shake an industry, and it's already starting to do it just even by word of mouth. It's amazing to me that people are talking about it in Australia right now, and I only know about a handful of people in Australia. How did they think that happened? Right. So they got people like kind of like even some of the networks going, okay, how is this going to hurt my community, and how is this going to hurt my network? Well, I'm not going to hurt your network. I'm hurting all networks because I'm building a community. What I'm doing is something, and what we're doing is something completely different than anyone's ever done. It's an all-in-one educational hub. I can care less about downloads and growth and monitor. We're one heartbeat, one mission, and we're going to go after everything. So that's how it's done, man. I am so freaking excited just to see, I got some major announcements coming up towards the end of the week that's going to knock everybody on the floor. So what can't wait. Guys, if you have any questions and you would like to have Ella make sure she's building some systems, or how you doing, bud? Building some systems and maybe some topics you would like for her to cover. I think we're doing that live call. I don't want to do it live on this. What we should do is doing it behind that firewall and doing it on Zoom and really digging in.
I want to do it on Zoom. Yeah. Like, I don't want to do it where it's like comments and stuff. I want to do it like I can see everybody, everyone can chime in. Like, Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to do it like, and
Right.
that's and we can stream the Zoom live to like a Facebook group, like
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Of course.
Or just
Yeah.
we record it and you post it or whatever. But no, I
Mhm.
want it to be on Zoom.
Right. Me too. Me too.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. All right, Ella, appreciate you. I love the fact that we're, of course, when you're in alignment with the right message and you're trying to get to this, the right outcome, and it's just all about synergy, and it's all about you being in alignment with other people that can help you with your journey, and I just want to say I appreciate you, appreciate your energy, and especially just the friendship. I think it's just, I can't wait to see what we do in the future. It's gonna be fun.
I appreciate you too. I'm excited.
Right. Guys, text 843-396-2104 with any questions, comments, and concerns. Go to winject.com to check out the website. And if you are part of the community already and you haven't looked at the system inside of all these exclusive offers, I shared it all the way at the beginning of this little talk and weekly update. I highly suggest you kind of getting yourself back engaged, because we're about to take this. I'm about to curse. we're about to take this shit up a couple notches. Okay. So we're about to turn it all the way up. It's going to be fun. So I appreciate everybody in staying online all the way towards the end of this. Be you, be well, be great. Let's see you at the top, and peace out. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks
This
for having me.
podcast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love,